Another fine day, another wonderful day, another beautiful day, and we just get here and have conversations, conversations to transform our communities, conversations that can get us to where we want to be. It's another relationship to re-segment, and today we're going to talk about DNA. Definitely, we'll have, I don't know if they're a host or they're guest or a host, but then I'll be talking to someone to just have these conversations. It's actually what is trending nowadays. You see people who have been married for so many years, 15, 20 years, and then there's always that before you know it, there's that news of, oh, they did a DNA, maybe the dad did a DNA at the back, maybe they went to the hospital for this or that reason, and before you know it, the situation is, oh, one of the key, I don't know, it doesn't belong to the dad. So I started digging, what is DNA, why do people get into that, how important is it for you to do DNA testing? I was asking so many questions, and what if it happens to me, what if it happened to my sister? The whole situation is just complicated. But like I said, we need to have these conversations because only when we have these conversations that we will get answers, and only when we start having answers that we can actually make progress with our community. It's another day, it's another fine day, it's another beautiful day today. I'll get a guest with me, my brother from another mother, Mr. Victor. Welcome to Toride. Okay, welcome to Toride.
Thank you so much, brother. And I feel honored to be part of this show. I think this is the first time in a long time.
I don't know what you're trying to do with your lighting, trying to get too creative so people can start feeling like, oh, this Toride guy is boring. Look at how Victor's lighting is good. It's cinematic, it's creative, and so how
No,
is
this is
Kenya doing today?
Kenya is flooding. Everything in this country is wet. Yeah, like there's
It's
a
what?
lot of it's wet. We've
Yeah,
we've been receiving flood for the past 3 weeks.
we notice you guys are going back to the old days. You're building arcs now. We don't know what's the plan.
Now we're trying to build arcs, and it's a good thing, because everyone is flooded, water everywhere. So how else will we move? We have to go back to the Noah days. And very soon, perhaps someone will be swallowed by a fish. We never know.
Oh. Yeah, just like man, when we were born, we were not walking. Then you start to crawl. Then you start to creep. Then you start to walk. Then you start to run, and before you know, you start going back again to, you cannot run, you can only walk, or you cannot walk, you can only crawl, or just sit somewhere. And before you know it, you start acting all over like a baby. They start wearing you diapers and whatever, and then you exit. So maybe we are heading towards the last days where we have to start doing all the Noah things, or fish swallowing people, and all of these things. And before you know it, did they say it's going to be a trumpet or something?
I think, yeah, there's going to be a very big one, a very loud one. So I'm wondering, because we have different time zones, so maybe it will be night somewhere. A lot of confusion. It will be daytime in America, then night in Africa. Just imagine the
Oh,
confusion.
oh, okay. Uh, Thank everyone who is watching. Please go ahead and share. Let me go ahead and share the video also, because I had a few people who wanted to watch, wanted to follow the segment. Yeah. Did you do any research on DNA?
I know a lot about DNA as
Okay.
a, as a man.
How did you know? Were you a victim?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a victim of DNA ever since I started growing up. And I've always wondered how it would feel like if you take your child to a DNA test and figure out it's not your child after maybe raising the kid for over 20 years. How messed up it would be. I've also always imagined how it would feel if my dad, if I take my dad's DNA for DNA testing, my dad's whatever for DNA testing. So I've always wondered what the result would be. And what if it's negative? What will I do? Most of the time we think about DNA, we think about our kids. And have we thought about us taking our parents for DNA testing? Are we really the children of our parents? It's something that you need to think about really, really deeply.
Sometimes I think about the chaos that can erupt from us doing DNA testing randomly, and some people are actually wanting for it to be legal. Some people are insisting that, oh, it should be legal, it should be a requirement. At the level of the hospital, when the kid is there, they need to do the DNA. But I was asking myself, like, we need to start asking questions like, why do people do DNA? Why? In some instances, normally when they're supposed to do like the I think transfusion or something, that is when it will be compulsory for you to do DNA, because they want to make sure your blood type matches the that of the kid. um that is when sometimes most people get exposed. But personally, for me, I don't think it would be a good idea for you to just wake up one day randomly, and or for the law to just decide, okay, you know what, after every kid we need to do a compulsory DNA test. Is that really necessary?
I think it's necessary. It's very important considering how the world has turned in these days. Just imagine like the fear of living with someone else in your house and is not your baby. This is just messed up. So the reason why I would really support the act of doing a DNA during childbirth immediately before leaving the hospital is because sometimes babies get switched. It's not even just about the woman not being transparent enough in the marriage. Maybe the baby was switched. Just you might leave the hospital with a baby that is not yours. So DNA should be done to both of the parents. Like the dad gets the match should be like positive for both mom and dad, because most of the time people do DNA tests and they only do it for the male parent, for the female parent, for the male.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
forget
it's
that
mostly
maybe this
maternal.
child does not belong to this person. You see that? So you've
Hmm.
taken your baby from the hospital and then you're forcing the dad to do a DNA test, and it comes out okay. The dad wants to do a DNA test with the baby, right? Now he
Hmm.
does the DNA test. It turns out to be negative. Are you sure that this baby is even was born by your woman, your wife? You see that? So this
Yeah.
is something many people overlook, but it's something that it's high time people start paying close attention to.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. So the DNA test can actually come out negative because that was not actually your own baby. Maybe it's someone else's baby.
Yeah, yeah, it's someone else's baby. So you're happy, or you're suspecting your wife of having having a relationship with others, or even having someone else's baby. But in
Yeah.
the real sense, that is not your baby. That is
The
not her
baby was
baby.
probably exchanged or something in the hospital, right?
Yeah, it was a mix-up because they have seen in the maternity rooms. There's always a place where they lay all the babies. Sometimes I don't know so much about it, but
I think it's
a
really
mix-up
important.
always happens.
I'm
Mhm.
glad you brought that up because I actually was I was doing not really research, but I was just looking online, and then I noticed. So I was just googling things about DNA testing, and then I went to this I got to this website, which says paternitylab.com. And if you look at their website, you will notice especially choose from our popular DNA test. You realize DNA testing is not just about paternity. It can
Mhm.
be about they say home paternity test, they say immigration paternity test, legal paternity test, parental paternity test. And but if you go down, you see other relationship DNA testing. It has home sibling DNA testing. It has home grandparent testing. It has home aunt uncle DNA testing. It has home maternity DNA testing. So I think this goes to explain what you were talking about we only worry about DNA when it comes to paternity. But then, are you even sure the uncle you're benefiting from, calling them uncle and they're sending you to school, are they really your uncle? You need to go do a uncle test to
I
make sure
think
they're actually your uncle. So you make sure also they are not sponsoring you to school, thinking you guys are related when you guys are not even related.
it's a waste of a lot of finances. If you can take like someone else, you can take someone to school, get through all the hassle of paying all the school fees, uh, thinking that this is your relative, and then later finding out you have no blood bond or any bond of any kind. The only bond you have is you've been paying fee, so you left with an empty pocket, some little pain in your pocket. So that is when you realize the pain, So as much as, and you've said like there are different types where someone can take maybe to find if there's a match between him and the grandparents. I
Yeah.
don't know I don't know if this is the best because with
Mm.
African setup, we believe in inheritance. So perhaps if the grandparents don't trust us so much, then they can go for that. It will be beneficial, especially now that lands are the lands have reduced in sizes. So yeah, I think it will help them, but not help us because
Do
some
you
of
have
us
any
are light.
questions? Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a few questions for you. Yeah.
Okay, let's go then.
Have you ever considered doing a DNA test?
Um, no. No, and my reason is for me a kid is a kid. Doesn't really matter if it was your kid. Um at the end of the day, you treat the kid like your kid. They still actually gonna treat you like their dad. We've seen cases where um because we all nowadays we know why we have kids, right? Growing up we thought our parents were having kids
Mhm.
because they really loved kids. No, they were not having
Mhm.
kids because they loved kids. They were having kids because they wanted someone to take care for them when they are old. So some parents who make a crazy bet, oh, I need
Mhm.
to have like 10, 15. So amongst them, I'm probably going to have one or two that will take care of me when I'm old. Some other white people, we say, "Hey, you know what, we need one or two. We train them very well and we are very, very sure they'll take care of us when we're old." So I never thought about the DNA thing. I don't think it's important for me personally. I don't think it's important because I just feel like you raise a kid well. It doesn't matter if they are your own or not. They're still gonna fulfill that purpose of a kid. That's just it for me. But nowadays, with what is going on, I think some people are giving me good reasons why you just need to do a DNA test. You can continue to raise the kid, but at least you know, okay, this one is not my biological kid. Now, the other reason why I feel like I might want to do it also is the situation where we've seen a situation where they got to the hospital, the child was sick, they needed blood, and then it was only at that time that the dad was told, "Hey, we don't think this is your son or whatever." So, which is not a fair thing. If they had known already that okay, this is not his biological son, then they will not even go that route. They'll be looking for where to get blood on in time to save the kid's life. Um, so yeah, I never thought about it. I don't think I want to do it. I don't think for me, I don't really think it's important. But yeah,
I think you are these people who believe that. I think you do you fall in this category of people who believe that if you want to know a baby's paternity, you just have to flog the baby so hard that the mom will just come out of nowhere and tell you that. Do you know where I came up? I came with that baby from. Do you know? Do you want me to tell you? Stop beating my baby. We've seen
or,
that
or
a
or the
lot.
mom or the mom will just be like, I know why you're beating them that bad. Maybe you discovered they are not your own. That's why you're treating them like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So that was a very good way of knowing the DNA results in the past. And there's also this way that we used to determine with the DNA test the African way. Yeah,
Yeah,
is perhaps you watch the child grow. If the child is light skinned and you're dark,
yeah.
that is not your son. Also, the behaviors of the baby. That some
but
behaviors like
and you do you know in some villages you guys can go for, like, because normally they don't even know about DNA testing, but based on certain characteristics, or like you said, the skin tone or whatever, something that the dad doesn't feel comfortable about, they will just go ahead and start accusing the mom, like, I'm not sure that's my kid. You need to tell me the truth. I want you to be honest with me. Uh, and they'll go for years treating that kid like an outcast, uh just on the fact that, or maybe the kid was light skinned. But sometimes some kids also, man, I've seen two, no, it was a black guy and a black woman that had a kid, and the kid came out like a Chinese. And some guy was explaining some, oh, it is whatever genes is this and that. I was just like, man, just spare me that. What is the next question?
Uh-huh. Also, before I go to the next question, there's this also scenario. Another quick way of testing DNA is you just talk evil, just talk bad words about, or you just talk to you tell one of the relatives of your wife, even the sister or even her aunties,
Yeah,
you tell them about how your wife talks ill about them.
yeah.
I think they'll tell you
Don't
how
tell you.
many children belong to you. They'll even tell you the father. So it's even more conclusive than the DNA test because
Yeah.
the DNA tell you.
Because she must have confided to some family member or something, and that is so true.
Mhm.
I usually tell my close friends, I usually tell them a lie. If you are a friend to me, if you're someone close to me, I usually tell a lie that is specific to you. So me and Victor can be discussing, and then I'll deliberately tell you a lie, and then I just sit back and wait for that lie to come to me. For me, it gets to tell me who I should trust and when and how. Because if I have you as a friend, I will have a mutual friend. Um, and then I tell you a lie, and then someday that mutual friend comes to me and is telling me what I told you. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, I think I should be very, very careful with this guy. Go ahead with the next question.
Yeah. So the next question is, if in any case, now I'm not even saying you've said you cannot go for a DNA test. What
Yes.
happens in this scenario that the lady you have happens to have given birth to some baby and there was a little bit of suspicion during a relationship, so you're doubting the paternity of your children, and you as Nasako, you walk
Mm-hmm.
to the hospital and get a DNA result without letting the your wife or your spouse know,
Mm-hmm.
and you find out that the result is negative. What do you do? What do you tell her?
So,
Because you went
you, you
behind the back.
you know, one thing about this whole DNA thing is, before somebody starts thinking about the DNA, there must be suspicion. You understand? So for me, this whole DNA thing will not even be a topic if we were honest and we were sincere. That is one thing I feel like the women should take responsibility of. um my mom used to tell me, if you do the crime, be ready for the fine, be ready for the consequences. If you whatever you do, whatever actions you take, just be ready for the consequences. We just need to be honest. Women need to be honest with themselves. If you did something funny, talk to your spouse, talk to whoever. It doesn't matter. If For me, I'll prefer for you to, or for me, the way I think life should work is, you commit the crime, you confess your crime, and you allow the other person to decide what your punishment should be. You cannot go out there and do something funny and then just sit quietly, hoping to continue benefiting from a relationship, knowing fully well you did not hold your own part of the relationship the way you were supposed to. um I If I suspect anything, I'll talk to the lady. I'll talk to the lady. Another question also about another concern about the question you asked is it even legal for you to go do DNA without the other spouse's consent? I don't think it's legal. I've not verified that, but I don't think it's legal for you um to go behind their back and do a DNA testing. A DNA testing is supposed to be, um how can I put it, consensual? Is that a word?
Consensual, yeah.
Yeah, consent has to come from both parties. especially in a case where you go do the DNA test and the kid is not your kid. They can actually take you to court. So you actually do a DNA test to a kid that is not your kid. They don't care if you did not know if it was not your kid. I just hope what I'm saying is correct, but I think that is the way it works. DNA testing, it should be between both parties. The mom has to be aware, the dad has to be aware, and they say, yeah, let's go ahead and do a DNA testing. You cannot just uh pick up a kid that you're taking them for holidays and then you go run a DNA test. I don't think it was. That's why most of the times some parents will do that. Some fathers will do that, and then they will stay with the result for us, and they'll be looking for ways to, and then they start accusing the mom. This kid doesn't look like my kid. They look at the way they are talking. Look at until they can get the mom's approval. But now you know the mom also knows very well that that is not your kid. So it will be difficult to get the approval to go do it in it. But in the case where, damn,
So for
I,
example, you in a case
I,
where
I, I, I get to that position where I have to do a DNA test, and I find out, okay, they are not my kid. I'll talk to the lady. Oh, I'll talk to, but I know definitely well I'll not do a DNA test without their consent. But if I happen to do that, I'll let them know. I'll let them know where I stand. I'll let them know what I've done. Let them know what I think. Like I said earlier, I don't think uh, it's for me. I don't think it's any bad thing raising another person's kid, especially if the person is okay with that. We are men. Sometimes we go to do things in different cities, different towns, and then sometimes we do a one night something. You never know if you left the kid there and someone else was taking care of that kid. So just if you have the opportunity of taking care of another person's kid, do it happily.
so most people always say that DNA test is expensive because like in Africa it's always on the minimum maybe $1,000. So like people always claim that DNA test is expensive, but then if you compare the cost of you have maybe 3 kids and you want to decide which one you take to school.
Mhm,
I think it's going to be cheaper to conduct a DNA test for all the three, and then you save some money if you find that maybe only one is yours. You see that? So, if what can you advise someone who's thinking about doing such a thing? You have 3 kids, you have some $3,000 that you can put in DNA test before the kids go to maybe secondary school. So you want to
mhm,
find out which kids are yours so that at least you know how to distribute resources. Or you are at a point where you want to write your will, and
mhm.
then now you have to conduct a DNA test because perhaps you have only 2 pieces of land and you have 4 sons. So maybe I think that's the best time to conduct a DNA test. It's not just about conducting a DNA test, okay, anywhere or anytime, but
For,
I
for
think that
me,
is
for me, like I said earlier, right?
Mhm.
We have to understand why we give birth to these children, right? Yeah, we have to be honest with ourselves why we bring forth kids to the world. I don't know what the answer is for you. Um, but I've realized, or I've learned, that most people who have kids today wanted to have kids because they needed somebody who, when they are old, can take care of them. I think I had a conversation with a friend yesterday. He shared a video with me of Kevin Samuels, his usual way of bashing women. If you're 22, you are whatever. If you're 25, you're whatever. If you're 30, you're whatever. If you're 35, you are Walmart, whatever. If you're 40, you're Salvation Army, or I don't know. Like, so the guy sent the video to me, and I was laughing. And for me, I did not find it funny. Um, so I was just like, people have a right to decide how they want to live their life. The same thing for kids also. People have a right to decide if they want to have kids or not. Um, People have kids for different reasons, and that is one of the reasons why the West is completely different from Africa. In Africa, you are supposed to have kids because the system, we don't have a system in place to take care of people who don't have kids when they are old. You understand? You don't expect your brother's kids to come and take care of you. They might not do a good job and all of that. But in the West, especially in America where I live, you can live your whole life, not have kids, and still die happily, so long as you have the money. So in the West, the most important thing is the money. You have the money, you can pay your system, you can pay everything, and even pay for your funeral, and even plan your own funeral and everything, and people who are going to come there and sing and dance and whatever. And you have lawyers who will be alive to enforce whatever thing you wanted. So um that's the reason why you see in the West people have two, three kids, they don't care. People don't have kids. Men feel like, oh, I really want, I don't want to, I want to go with another man. After all, I don't need, we can adopt kids and all of these policies. So for me, I will, in a situation like that, I think the man should worry more about who is actually going to take care of me uh, when I'm old. We have seen scenarios where the dad was wealthy, handed everything to their biological son, and then the guy squandered everything, right?
Yeah.
Um, Even in the West, we have seen situations where I used to work in a nursing home. I had a woman who would cry every day. The way the children dumped her at the nursing home was funny. They lied to her. They were going there to visit one of her friends, and they rode her on a wheelchair, got there, abandoned her, and took off. She cried for like 1 week, and then why she was crying all day, I mean, I was worried, but I mean, sure, nah, she's not the first now. They always cry. She'll get used to it. Before you know it, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then she starts to open up to me. Can you imagine? They did that to me. Uh, 1 month after I transferred all of my property to them, after I willed all my companies to them, they had treated me like they will never bring me to a nursing home and blah 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 blah. So for me, the situation will be who is actually going to take care of me better when that time comes. I've built a relationship with you, Victor. I'm thinking about investing in Kenya because of the relationship I have with you. Um, Before you, I had a relationship with some few friends from Cameroon. Trust me, it did not go well. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, instead of me focusing on okay, these three kids, which one is not my own, so I make sure I hand my property to the rightful. No, focus on how can I actually train these boys to make sure when that time comes, um, they will be there for me. Um, I'll give you a last example. I am actually someone who benefited a lot from people who I don't have any biological relationship with.
Mhm.
Yeah, I grew up in a house where one time when I was like 11, 12, I heard the man I was staying with uh tell their wife that if you think I'm going to put that boy out of this house to save our marriage, then you're wasting your time. I'm not going to do that. That man was talking about me. So when he says to save our marriage, he was married to this woman and they had two kids, three kids. So this man actually put me over his three children. So don't you think I'll be stupid to sit here and say, oh, if someone is not my biological kid, I'll not look after them?
Yeah.
So now,
Going by your story, I think that is a very wonderful and gruesome experience to different levels. Are you this person that was raised by someone who is not your parent, but was able or was willing to sacrifice his
mhm,
kids for you? Now that is a different kind of love. That is just like amazing, and you rarely find such breeds of people. So you, in that case, I think even the wife should have conducted maybe a DNA test to find out if that person was your dad.
no, the
That is
truth
what the
is,
kid comes in.
the truth is, at one point in time, the wife was actually saying, I probably was the guys back then. I don't think DNA were popular, and even if it was popular, it was really expensive. It's
Mhm.
not like now where you can just jump to any Walmart and get a $2 or $3. So let me see how much it will cost to do a DNA test in
You're
Texas.
saying DNA test for $3 or $2?
The cost of DNA testing
Yes, you want to find out if it costs.
in Texas. I just want to know.
DNA
Okay, this is
testing in
25 per
Texas.
person.
Mhm.
Most
How much?
most collection sites can do sample collection the same
That
day
is
that
just some
before, and
collection.
most charge about 25 per person for collecting the DNA sample and overnight the samples to the lab. Once all samples have been received, we will typically have results in as little as 48 hours. So it's $25. $25 in Cameroon is about 15,000 francs CFA, which in Kenya should be that's cheap. $25 is cheap for
Yeah, it's
DNA
cheap. It's like
testing.
2,500 Kenya shillings.
Yeah,
But then I think that is just for sample collection. I don't think it's included the price of the test.
you think so? But they
I
should
think
have
that's
said.
just
Okay, I see another one is saying DNA test center near you. Local lab DNA test from 175. So if they say from 175, I don't know what they mean.
I
Let
think
me
that is
see.
just marketing. But then
No, it's not marketing.
not
This
marketing.
is actually from their website.
Mhm.
DNA testing in America will not be that expensive. I don't think it will cost more than $200 or $500. Except you're trying to intentionally falsify the result, so you decide to pay them $10,000.
But then I was going to ask you about this issue of falsifying results. We've seen people doing it for maybe benefit, their self benefit. The only place I've encountered falsifying results of the DNA test mostly is the movies. In the movies, you find that perhaps there's this woman, she has babies outside of marriage, or perhaps has a boyfriend elsewhere. Now she has to falsify the results because the man wants to find out the reality so that he can divide his wealth accordingly. So
You see that's the reason why man, you falsify the result and the man discovers, they're definitely going to sue the company, the hospital, and they're
it's
definitely
always
getting
risky
some
for
good
us.
money from them. Huh?
It's always risky
So
for the hospital.
I don't even think in the US any doctor will want to take that risk. No
Because it
hospital,
might
no.
be a con game, right?
Huh?
You might be conning the hospital,
Yeah,
telling
because
them
generally
by
what
that.
happens is people don't usually do the testing just once. They do the testing, they go to different labs and test again and again to be sure.
It's
So
just
if
better
it
to
comes
give
out your result was the only one that was
most
contradicting every
secrecy.
other result, you have probably have to explain, and it's also going to sabotage your image. So most people will not want to do that. Um, Man, this whole DNA thing, for me, I don't even think it should be a big issue. We
It's a
just
big
have to be
issue. It's
sincere
a
with,
very big issue
huh?
because the problem we're experiencing. You've said in America is as cheap as 175 USD, but then look at places where the third world. The level of the expense. It's a bit expensive because we don't have those centers. A lot of them, maybe the machine and all that. So people end up like, I think people end up knowing that they won't know, they will never know. So like I just have to, someone can hide or someone can lie.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a wife, but she gives birth with other men, and then you raise the kids. Now you have a wife who is unfaithful, a wife who does not love you that much because she doesn't want to have your babies. She's
Mm-hmm.
only there with you. Now I think in Africa, we're living in a way that we don't really, we would love to do DNA test, but we are not in a position to. And then most people don't know about DNA testing. Most people just
So,
wait for.
let me ask you a question. What if so Sylvia says DNA testing in Cameroon is 150 thousand francs CFA. That is about $250 dollars in the United States. Sylvia says raising a kid that you know is not yours is different from when you know a kid is yours and at the end that kid is not yours. The feeling is on another level, especially if na some particular situation led you to that information. This is a thing, right? Like I said, the problem with raising a kid that is yours or not yours and all this DNA thing is the way people look at kids. You understand? Like I said, I was opportune or I was blessed to actually enjoy benefits from people who were not biologically, I was not biologically related to them, and I saw them treat me like I was their own. I get to realize these people had a completely different mindset, and if you look at my relationship with you, you can actually tell. You can actually tell that I don't really look at people like, oh, maybe this person is coming from Cameroon, or this one is coming from Ghana, or oh, I'm African. This person is from the West or Indian, so I should treat them differently. For me, I feel like once someone start looking at things like, um, I am doing this for this person because they are my kid, because they are my blood. You understand? That is how they will want to do. Oh, I cannot do this to this person because they are not from Cameroon. I cannot treat this person like this because you understand. So you start
Mhm.
treating your kid because, for me, I look at it like they are just another human being that needs life, that needs support, that needs guardians. They are just another human being that if I provide for them today, they will definitely provide for me tomorrow, or they'll provide for some other persons tomorrow. I need to give them everything because when I was like them, someone gave everything to me. So
I think
if it
I
turns
think
out
what's
down the road, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, somebody walks up to me and say, oh, they are not your kid, it's not going to be a fine thing. Trust me, I'll not feel okay with it and just smile and be like, okay, no. um I will wish they were my kid, but it will not change the fact that the relationship I have with them is there already, and nothing is going to change.
I think as much as what you've said, I really agree with to many levels. And again, looking at what Sylvia is saying, she's talking basically about that bonding, like all the moments, all the time you spend together, like all that. Then you realize that you are lied to. I think the blame should not be placed on the baby, as much as you'll feel bad, but then the blame should be placed on the person that lied to you. So because you knew the baby did not know, and
Wait,
you
can I say
might
something?
say,
Do you know part of the blame can actually go to the father?
"Now look at the direction you're going with this."
You don't think so?
Seriously, I don't think so. You cannot say blame lies on the father. Yeah, you can't say that.
I think part of the blame can go to the father, because sometimes you dating someone who is so dictatorial, you cannot even talk, you cannot have conversations with them. They put you in a position where it's easy for you to lie to them rather than telling you the truth. They put you in a position where you know very well, if I tell them this, they're going to kill me, and then you just choose to, no, I want to leave, so I have to lie. So don't you
And what's
think?
bad is if you know this person can kill you, why do you go outside of a relationship? Now that is just like I don't accept that excuse
No,
because like you know
it's
this person
the
can
deed
kill.
is the deed is done, is committed already.
How do you commit it
So
when you
at the
know
end
this
of the
person?
day, it's committed already. Are we supposed to be living life like that? You have a relationship where you cannot have honest conversations with your spouse. You guys cannot talk about things. You guys cannot sit and say, hey, your wife cannot come to you, or your girlfriend cannot come to you and say, hey, baby, I'll be honest with you. You know, I told you I was going out with my friends the other day. You say yes. I don't know what happened, but I'm not even sure it was because of the alcohol I drank, but I allowed a man to touch me. They touched me intimately. Okay, yeah, we did not do anything, but it was really intimate. I just wanted to apologize. And you look at
Mm.
them and tell them, hey, I really hate you for this. I wish you did not do that. I really pray you cannot do that anymore. Um, it's okay. Let's continue this relationship. Or okay, I don't want to continue the relation. Like, I just feel like we need to get to that place where people can feel very comfortable to express themselves, and also be ready for the consequences and be okay with the consequences, rather than put people in a
Hide.
position where, first of all, you are the person who told them not to work because you are the breadwinner, you are the father, you are the African man. I'll go out there and look for food and everything. Um, And now they find themselves in this position where they feel like, if I leave, how am I going to feed? How am I going to you know what? I'll just tell a lie. After all,
I think
maybe he
we've
died.
been brought up believing that it's better for you to discover later. It's like it's better for me to enjoy right now before you discover that I lied to you. Because if I tell
Yep.
you, yeah, it will hurt me right now. But
Yep.
then perhaps if you'll find out later, perhaps things would have changed. Perhaps I won't be married to you, or perhaps something will have happened, or perhaps you might have died. So, like, at least I don't feel the pain right now. Huh? I don't feel the pain right now, but at least even if I'll feel the pain later, it will be at a different circumstance. And also perhaps it won't be as heavy as it is right now. Because they always say that
Um, Fair Vic is saying, if the relationship was built on trust, why do DNA? And that's how I feel also. Like, why would you even think about DNA if you're in a relationship with someone? The moment you start talking about the DNA something, I think the relationship is out the door already. Because after that, that woman is never going to trust you. Especially if the kids were actually yours, bro. And you know what's funny? If you test and the kids are actually yours, it still doesn't change the fact that maybe she cheated on you. The
okay.
only difference. So your only
I don't,
problem was, I'm okay with you cheating, but I just want to make sure the kids are.
two things can be right.
And if the woman, okay, no, the woman can actually accept with DNA even though they did not sleep with. But if they don't want to do a DNA, then it's indicative that they probably slept with um someone.
They can even come up with excuses, perhaps tell you that it's expensive to do a DNA. We have pending bills, we have things that we need to do.
How expensive? How broke are you guys? That DNA test. I don't I
Okay,
don't even think that.
I was talking about the cost of DNA from a blind perspective. I think my prices were before COVID. I think that was the last time I checked the cost of DNA. Now, if Silver is telling me it's about 150,000 CFA, then I think really need to go back and try to see the next hospital so that at least I see what I can do with them.
Victor, I think we are ignoring something. You remember, I don't know if it's same in Kenya, but in Cameroon, we have a culture of, back in the days, we used to have a culture where if I was married to you, I paid the dowry and everything. Every kid that you have belongs to me. So the wife and the kids were considered as property. So if I got married to you while you were already pregnant, automatically that kid becomes mine. It is not
Hmm.
yours, even though they know you came to me when you were already pregnant. I don't know if you
The
have
same
something like
thing
that in
happens in
Kenya.
Kenya. Yeah, it happens in Kenya, but in the
So,
village.
so you see, the DNA was not needed. They don't really care about DNA. They don't
The
care
reason
if
why
you,
listen
huh?
to me. The reason why at least that man in the past would embrace the kids and love them wholeheartedly and not even care about where the parentage of the
So will you be
fatherhood.
will you will
See,
you, will you be okay if
during that
someone treats
time,
you poorly
let me
because you are
just
not their
explain.
biological kid?
No, the thing that happened in the past was because the women were also submissive. The women were women. Now, nowadays, you find a woman talking to you the way she wants because she knows she has a leeway. She can go back to the father of the kids whenever she wants. Now, during that time, you're talking about there was no divorce, there was no ground for divorce. Death was the only separation between two married people.
Mhm.
Now a woman can walk away from you because apparently the kids that you guys have are not yours. Now she just walks out, she decides to go back to the original husband. That's why men have become like they have not become lambistic. They have formed a way that they can protect themselves from such things happening. Now you grow up, maybe you take care of the baby and all that. You love this baby, you develop a very perfect bond with the baby, and then the woman decides to leave. She lives with the babies and then goes to the original father. Now you've wasted your time. You are almost 50. You're not even married. You don't have a baby of your own. You are lonely. You're sad. You see that? That is the reason why, like most people in the towns, or
Mhm.
the urban setup, I've really like
It is only a
when you
broke
really
person
need
that can be
to
considered lonely and sad.
let me tell you this. At 50, you don't
Yeah.
have a baby. I think that really affects the psychology of everything. At
And
least you want,
and
as much as you don't, as much as I wouldn't say like I'm really a fan of babies, but then just imagine like you are at that age why you don't have someone to send
Victor, let me
anywhere.
tell you
Like,
something here.
mhm,
Um, a few things I like and admire about the West is the way 400 years ago their founding fathers were thinking. Um, like I said earlier, the African society, because we don't have a system in place to take care of people who are old. You understand? That is the
mhm.
reason why we have to give birth to children. That's the reason why some people want to do 15. Some people even want to do 20. In Cameroon, we call it tubu tumbu. It's a way of saying if I have 20 kids, uh,
Mhm.
if it gets to the worst, at least I'll have one or two uh, who might come out successful and then they'll take care of me when I'm old. I remember at age 10, 11, 12, my grandmom had already picked two of her grandkids. That was me and one of my, I think, yeah, it was a lady. One other lady. She had already designated us as the persons who were going to bury her. So from time to time, she'll do certain things to me or to my cousin, and she'll always say, "Not the one they do, they will bury me. Not the two they will bury me." And guess what? I grew up with that mentality. And even when I came to America and I was doing whatever I was doing because she was old already, I was actually saving money already for that. So like, hey, she's probably not going to live again for the next 20, 30 years. You have to be ready. You have to make sure you don't fail her. So I was already saving money somewhere for that. Now, I feel like the only reason she was doing that, it was because she looked at her savings and she was like, no way, I'm not sure I can afford. Or she decided to, you know what, instead of me saving money for my burial and everything, maybe I should just invest this money in Nasako. You understand? Invest in Nasako and convince him to understand that when I'm no more, he should be the one to take care of me. And that was exactly what I did. When she died, they had a family meeting and they were like, maybe. I was not even part of that conversation. I was very sure I had the budget to do everything. So whatever any other person was trying to do was a plus. In America, they have a system where they call it the social security.
Mhm.
Uh, social security for people who are broke. For those who are wealthy, they have places that they put their money in. They assign this money already. Okay, if I die today, this percentage of the money should be used for this. That percentage of the money should be used for this. This should go on this and all of that. So I feel like the challenge we have nowadays, especially the reason why, um, I don't even want to say the reason because I don't want to give people a good reason to start doing DNA.
Please give
For me, I
us.
just feel like it's out of place. Our sister, Vic says no. I don't think it's a sister. Vic says the moment you do DNA and you find out they are actually your blood, then trust me, we wouldn't have peace in that home because it simply means you don't trust me. True,
You have to
and that's the
trust.
challenging
Like,
thing
you
about
have to
about
verify.
DNA.
You have to verify.
That's the challenging thing about DNA testing. It's just indicative that the man doesn't trust you, and sometimes the man is not trusting you not because they actually don't trust you. Sometimes it's actually because they already called him also and told him, "Do you remember the kid? Blah blah blah. I did the DNA with the father, and it came out negative. So apparently, you were the only guy I slept with during that time." So, and then they start thinking like, "Damn,
Mhm.
after 8 years, they're giving me a kid. Maybe this kid's also not."
So it's not suspicious.
Yeah, it can.
But then again, if you look at this, if you look at this really well, what S is saying, what she's saying is that now because you did not trust her
Mhm.
now, like, the dots she's placed at the bottom of that comment really shows you the nature of women we have around in Africa. She's like already retaliating, you see. In
Why would she
Africa we
not
were brought up
retaliate?
in a way that you have to confirm, even if it's written wet paint, you just have to go and touch, or even wet floor. You just go and feel if it's really wet. It might be written that, but it's not that. See? Yeah. So we always grow uh, testing and trying out new things, and we have to confirm even when it's written do not, because there are some things we were told were not sweet when you were growing up, when you were babies, but then we found out they were called bad manners, but we found out they are good manners because we are a product of the same. So we've at least learned that we should not trust what we are being told without verification. So I would
Mhm.
understand every point of doing a DNA test. And again, I also wanted to talk to you about something. We have a
Yeah,
baby mama. You know about baby mama and all that.
yeah.
Yeah. You know about it a lot because you're in America. I was told that there's a joke that is always being told about. I don't want to go into that because it's like, let me just skip the joke. It's not
No,
so
no, go
friendly.
ahead.
About yeah, it's about a runaway dad. Runaway
Mhm,
dads. Yeah,
mhm,
runaway black dads. I think it goes about. I've forgotten how it goes, but it's about the dads not taking responsibility, something of that sort.
mhm.
Forgotten the joke exactly how it goes, but it's sort of something like, when does a black child see their parent or what? I'll
Mhm,
figure it out as we go on, and I'll say it.
mhm.
But then I'm talking about DNA in the aspect of a baby mama. Now,
Yeah.
a lady comes to you, then she claims she has a baby, she has your baby, or even at the point of death. I've seen this happen a lot of times in Africa. A
Mhm.
rich man dies, and that is the moment where women come with babies
Yeah.
from nowhere. They're coming to attend your funeral and they want a share of your wealth. You're already
Is
dead.
there a way? I think there's a way you can actually still do DNA test even if
Yeah,
the
it
man
can
is
be
gone, right?
done. It can be done. So that is why I'm saying DNA needs to stay because of frauds. We have a lot of fraudsters around. The people who want to take advantage, perhaps because she was seen with you a couple of times. Now she's coming to claim that she has some of your babies. You see that? So a
No,
lot of
I
opportunities, people are taking advantage of it. So you're saying that you do not want the aspect of DNA test. I don't think you're really taking us in the right path.
no, I think I understand that also, right? We
Mhm.
have seen situations where uh the woman knows so well, not even about even let's say she accidentally slept with two men on the same. I don't know how it happens accidentally, but she slept with two different men and then uh found out she was pregnant, so decided, you know what, I'm just going to play the game. We have other women who
Mhm.
actually know they're already like 3 weeks pregnant or 2 weeks pregnant, and then they
Mhm.
know they're probably pregnant for a broke guy that they really love, uh
Mhm.
but then they need to sleep with this other guy who is wealthy that they don't love. So this guy can actually take that responsibility to father. Yeah, it happens. I don't know if you know any situation. I know situations where um the lady was intentional, like they knew very well this is not the baby's dad, but then after they had sex with the other guy, the broke guy, they
Mhm.
went and slept with the rich guy. So to clear off that doubt, okay, yeah, but you know I slept with you during this time, and okay, so see, I gave birth 9 months later, so it's almost, you see it's, and then you raise the kid for. But for me, even at that level, I don't think I'll really get angry if I find out you played
I
me.
think I think you've been
Because if
westernized
you're
so
able to
much.
play me,
You've been
probably then
westernized.
I was stupid. I actually laid the foundation for you to take advantage of.
I think you've really been westernized a lot.
I
The
don't
fact
think it's
that
about being westernized.
it's a lot of westernization in you, because
So,
if you want to live with
em-
someone's baby in your house, it's like you're leaving two men in that house. Then he has to pay rent. He has to pay his
Victor,
rent. Like
Victor, like I
I'm
told
not living
you,
with
for
another man
me,
in my house. Mhm,
for me, like I told you, I grew up in the street.
mhm.
Until date, I still receive favors and benefits from people I don't call family.
So that is
That's
the
just the
reason why
simple truth.
you're
Um,
suffering.
I don't think there is a day I ever called you
Mhm.
and you answered your phone like you were sleeping and you don't want to talk. Um,
No, I always
I don't think
talk.
there's a day I ever reach out to you and say, "Hey, uh, Victor, can you help me with this?" And you were like, "Oh, I don't think I want to do that because I'm tired." Um,
Mhm,
so that is how I look at life. I look at life like, uh, if Victor can treat me like this,
mhm,
somebody I never met personally, I got to meet through some other very good friend. Uh,
mhm,
if Victor can actually treat me like this, whereas I know friends, I know family who treat me like I don't even exist, and some of them even feel like I treat them like they don't exist. Um,
mhm.
so for me, I just feel like what is more important is a good relationship. Whether it's blood related, doesn't really matter. But I think also it will be good for you to just know. It will be fair for you to just know, okay, this is not my kid, uh, but I'm going to raise them like my kid.
I love that viewpoint. It's the relationships we build. It doesn't matter the people we are born with, but the relationships we build as we go along the way. Because in life, we've figured out that there are very different people, there are different types of people, and without even talking to them, you cannot know or figure out what kind of people they are. Because we
Mhm.
have been brought out with stereotypes. We've been told that these kinds of people are not supposed to be close to us, they're not supposed to be friends. Now
Yeah,
we are basing our stereotypes on things that did not involve us. Like we are creating an enmity with people that did not wrong us. Like for
yeah,
example, where I come from, we have like we have villages. I come from a place in Yakat called Kadianga, and now there we have villages. We have Kadianga, Kajimbo, Koguta, and all
yeah,
those. So the reason why Kadianga and Kajimbo cannot get married is because Jimbo, who is their forefather, was taking a shower by the river, was bathing by the river. Then apparently, Dianga, who is our forefather, saw him naked. Now they declare that no one from that place is going to get married to anyone from our place because now he's seen his nakedness. You see that? Now we've been brought up believing these things, taking these things in ways that affect even our normal relationships. Now we're doing things because someone told us not to do, but without finding out the reason why we should not do it.
yeah.
Now we are being told rather than think things critically and at the moment, because you know life is not like we're not living in life as if we have a guidebook that tells
Can
us
you
do
hear
this.
me?
I can hear you still.
I don't
Life,
know what
life.
happened, but it seems like your sound disappeared.
My sound disappeared. My sound,
Yeah, I
and I'll
cannot
see
hear
where
you, and
you
it's
can
not
hear
even
me.
reading on my system.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, your sound. Just check your connection between your roadcaster and your laptop. I don't think that should be the problem. That was the problem. Just the
Broadcaster on the
cable that
laptop.
connects your roadcaster and your laptop.
Or is it the
And
roadcaster
make
on
sure
the
also
laptop?
you're not muted.
I'm not muted. Let me see. Ooh, are you getting me now? I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I'm not muted.
I
I
still
don't know.
can
I
hear you.
You can hear me now.
Okay. Go to your audio settings on your, I don't know if you have that. Your audio settings on uh your laptop to make sure your roadcaster is actually the one providing your audio.
It's the roadcaster, and I can see the levels of the
Okay, you
roadcaster
know what?
here.
Just go out and come back. Just exit yeah, just exit yeah. So the conversation is about DNA testing, yay or nay. Um, are you okay with doing DNA testing? Are you okay with people doing DNA testing, especially behind other people's back? Like I said, the only reason why someone want to do DNA testing is if um, there's suspicion. Now, it's if it's a boy girl relationship, boyfriend girlfriend, I think it's just but normal for you to go ahead and DNA test. But if it's you guys are married, then it's serious. Uh, because if it comes out that those kids are your kids, if it comes out that those kids are your kids, it's definitely going to be big trouble. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me?
I can hear you well. I can hear
Yeah.
you
For
well.
some reason, I can hear you.
Oh, that's funny. I wonder why.
I don't know what happened to your sound. It was good. It was perfect,
Uh
and then it
huh.
just disappeared.
Because I don't think there's a problem between this roadcaster and the mic. I think perhaps it's a signal going into the
By the
lap.
way, let me know. Those who are watching, can you guys hear Victor? Can you guys hear Victor?
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys
Those who are
hear me?
watching, can you guys hear Victor?
Yeah, can you guys hear
Victor, say
me?
something while you're waving your hand so they can see if they hear you or
I'm
not.
saying something. If you can see me waving my hand, please let us know. Let us know if you can see me waving my hand.
Okay, I think I can check from my phone.
Yeah, it's mine is audible. It's the problem on your end. My audio is okay. My audio is okay. I've confirmed it on my own. So everyone else who is worried about DNA test, I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm mhm,
your audio is okay. Actually,
yeah.
it's oh Lord.
The
Give
problem
me
is
a
America.
second. Let me. What could be the problem? Okay, okay. What could be the problem? Okay. Can you say something?
Yes, I'm saying something at the moment. I'm saying something at the moment. I'm saying
Um,
something at the moment. You stepped on the cable transmitting the cable to the speaker, perhaps.
can you say something now?
hmm I'm saying something right now. I'm saying something right now.
Okay, okay, okay.
You can hear me now? I guess you can hear me. I'm talking continuously. I think someone like John Salvo was saying that, how is it called? That DNA should be made free for everyone. I wonder why he would say such a thing. You know,
Okay.
just having
Okay. Okay.
DNA free, DNA free. Having DNA free is going to make it, you know, when something is cheap, then no one is going to
Okay.
use it
Okay.
because they
Victor,
won't. Yeah,
can you hear
can you?
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Go back to your headphones. You have to go back to your headphones. As things stand.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
Yes, cool. Technology and its complications.
Technology is messing up with you. DNA is also another technology.
Say something.
I'm saying something. Technology is messing up with you. Technology is messing up with you. I think you can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me. Technology is messing up with you. Technology is messing up with you.
Um, I actually don't know what to say because even with the headphones, at least I should hear you.
Can we check the levels of the connection? The how is it called? The output of the rod.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me check. Can you say something, Victor?
I'm saying something. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm saying something. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear? You've
Okay,
heard me.
maybe we'll need to end the show, figure out this problem before our next segment. Um,
Okay.
for everyone who is watching, thank you guys so much. Maybe the association of people who don't want to do DNA decided that they were going.
They've decided to finish us completely.
The association of people who don't want to do DNA decided that now we're going to mess up this show.
Yeah, those people are jealous. They're a
uh,
bit.
but I think it was a fine one.
Mhm.
We'll probably be having many other conversations like this with Victor, or not only relationship to most importantly, politics. Not just politics, but talk about things that are happening around Africa. It's going to be more like news. For today, now there's more to it. I'll get them. Guys, go ahead and let us know what you liked about this segment, what you did not like. Let us know also